morning, everybody. How is everyone today? Good? Great? Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me today for Pilates Sculpt. My name is Audra, and we're using all the props today. We're using weights and a ball and a TheraBand. If you're at home and you don't have a ball, you can fold a pillow, use that. If you don't have weights, you can use whatever you can get your hands on, like gallon water bottle jugs or bottles of wine, or you can just squeeze your own beautiful muscles. And then as far as the TheraBand goes, if you don't have one, that's fine. We're just going to be using it for a little bit of resistance. If you're like, don't have it, you can just still do the movement without. As always, listen to your body, take breaks as needed. Let's get started. We're going to start just standing and do a little check-in. So close your eyes and just kind of trace your body with your mind's eye, starting at the top of your head, down to your ears and neck, your shoulders, your arms, your hands, sternum, back, ribs, stomach, lower back, glutes, hips, thighs, calves, and feet. And we're doing this without any sort of judgment. We're just observing if we can see where our body is in space. Now nod your chin, hollow out through the front, and roll down. Just notice where you feel sensation, right? And once we're down, shift your weight forward and back a couple of times, trying to keep your heels down, and see if that shifts the sensation from maybe like hamstring to calf. Last one, hold. Now take your hands to one side and see if that changes the sensation, right? Couple breaths. And then other direction. Come back to center. We're going to keep our hands down, bend your knees, and start to come down to the ground into kind of this crouching position, and then press up towards the sky. Yeah, just starting to move through a bigger range of motion. Bend the knees, bring them down, keep the heels down as long as you can, and then back up. One more. And then we're coming on to hands and knees. Now, if hands and knees does not feel good, you can always do fists or forearms. You can also use your weights here to give yourself a little bit of a stronger wrist. Now, on your exhale, we're just going to do little kitty cat paws. So exhale, lift a hand. See if your body shifted. Bring that hand down. Inhale, exhale, other side. And notice if there's a difference from side to side. Now, easier is hands closer together, knees wider. More challenging is knees together. And more challenging is knees together, hands apart, right? Because you've just changed your base of support. Couple more. And two. Last one, Dion, don't drop your head. Thank you. And now press both hands into the ground, slide one foot out. Keep it on the ground. Lift your belly button, push the foot away from you. See if you can access that glute a little bit. And then allow the leg to fold. Other side. Imagine that you're pushing your foot through wet sand. And fold it in. Couple more. Good. Now, trying to draw your belly button up so the back isn't trying to do any of the work, right? As we inhale, inhale expansively into your low back and exhale from the front. Now, push that foot out, push it so far away that maybe it starts to hover. Barely, yeah. And now just squeeze the glute for 5, It's not about range of motion. If the foot gets too high, it means that we're kind of dumping into that low back. So keep it a little bit lower than you think it needs to be. Hold this last one. And if it's appropriate, reach the opposite arm away. And we hold. Good. Slowly bring it in, other side. Slide it out, push so far away that it floats. We do tiny little squeezes. Just notice which muscles you feel activating. You have 4, 3, good, 2, hold, and if it's appropriate, reach the opposite arm. Fold it all in. Now you can coordinate those movements, pushing them both away, and then slowly bring it in. Now, we really want to focus on the slow in, because a lot of times we're like, okay, I got this, and then we just kind of let it go. And as we're pushing, think about pushing away from you as opposed to up. Good. I always think of, you can tell I've watched too many cartoons, like in a mad scientist layer, when the walls start closing in, right? You got to push both walls away. Good. I know one of you has seen that because yeah, one more. Now, if you want more challenge, same side arm and leg. And then reach, same side. Yeah, it's much harder than it seems like it should be, right? Yeah. Now, notice if your hips are rotating to help you. If they are, it's okay. We're actually about to allow them to rotate. So allow the rotation and then rotate back to center. Hold, bring it in, press, allow the rotation, bring it back to center, hold for a second and down. Now, if you're like, I don't feel like I can really do that with that arm, you can use the arm to help support you. It's fine. Okay. No problem. We have one more each side. Allow the rotation. Rotate it back, hold. And then other side. Then guess what time it is? It's planking time. It's everybody's favorite. You need to be on your fists or your forearms. That's fine. Press one foot out. Other foot comes to meet it. Good. Belly buttons up. Tuck your tailbones just a little bit. Good. Imagine there's a candle underneath your belly button. No, yep. Good. Deborah, lift higher to the sky. Even higher. Yes. Good. If you feel your back here, make sure you're tucking your tailbone to lift your belly button as opposed to letting your tailbone come up. Now, hinging around your shoulders and your knees. Tap the knees down, maintaining a knee plank. Press up. Tuck the tailbone. Good. 2 more. Last one. Hold. Now, if you're on your forearms, it's going to be a little trickier. We're going to bend one knee underneath us, reach it back. Exhale, other side. Now, if you're on your forearms, you will have to lift higher. That's okay. Okay? But try, and Monica, you can roll both knees in. Yeah, just look down at them. Yeah, so you're gonna be, yeah. Lift your knees so they don't clunk on the floor. Lift your hips. Yeah, there you go. It's more exciting. Yeah, 2 more. Last one, knees can come down. Push yourselves into your rest position. Roll out your wrists, take your hands up and over to one side. If you're like, roll out my wrists, I was on my forearms, that's fine. Other side. Now come on to your hip and forearm. Now you can always, if it feels better on your shoulder, be on your hand. Otherwise, first we're going to sink into like slumber party shoulder. Hey, what's up? Who do you think is cute? Guess what? We're not doing this anymore. We're gonna push the floor away, lift your ribs, push your knees down into the floor, and lift your hips. Now, maybe this is where you are. Make sure you're closing your ribs so you're bringing them towards your belly button a little bit. Yeah, and maybe this is where you are. Maybe you extend that top leg. Maybe you extend your bottom leg. Yeah, keep lifting your hips. And I wouldn't stack your feet though. So keep your top foot in front because we're going to rotate down to the ground and then rotate to the other side. And hold. So if you're on your knee, no problem. We rotate to the ground and we rotate to that first side. If you're on your hip, also no problem. You rotate to the ground, rotate to the other side. Okay? We're almost there. Rotate down, make sure those hip bones are up. And front. And back. Everybody doing okay? Come back to the first side and you have options. If you're in your full plank, you can bend that bottom knee, bring it to that top elbow, and then bring it back. If you're like, no, thank you, bring the knee down, bring the top knee, okay? If you're like, I would rather be on that hip, same thing, top knee, okay? We have 3. We have 2. Last one, other side. So if you're in that full plank, knee to elbow and extend. If you're like, I don't think so, okay. You're like, I'd rather not. No problem. Okay. Whichever variation you choose, great. We have 2 more. Come back to center, knees down, rest position. Okay. Go ahead, round your back and then relax. Round your back. And we're coming all the way to standing. But now, if you have a mini band instead of a TheraBand, you can use it. If you have a TheraBand, we're going to tie it around your legs because you're a gift. And if you don't have a band at all, that's fine. Okay? The band just is a little bit of an added bonus. So you're gonna need to bring your legs pretty close together. I would tie a bow instead of a knot. And then bring your feet apart. You might want that below your knees, Joni. Yeah. Even lower for you. Yeah. Yeah, that's you. Good. All right. So nice wide feet. A lot of times, if we just turn out from our feet, our knees are still basically forward, which is creating internal rotation at the knees. So the feet are just coming along for the ride. Spiral the thigh bone in the socket. Slowly lower into a little squat. Good. Now, yes, the knees are coming forward, but also, yes, the hips are sinking back. Good. 1 second. We're going to slowly allow one knee to come in and then use your foot and your glute to press it back out. Other side. Dion, I just think I want you to be in a bigger stance, like feet wider. Yeah. 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 Good. And slowly let the knee come in. Keep it in a range that feels okay. And then keep your whole foot down on the ground the whole time. So we're letting the knee move, foot stays down. Let the knee move, foot stays down. And as we're doing this. We're stabilizing with the right side. Left knee just kind of relaxes, press out, hold. And keep that left knee still. Good, bring it in. Couple more. Good. Keep your big toe mound nice and heavy. When we lift the arch, it's just a little activation of the arch, right? Doesn't have to be a braced, rigid thing. It's just some muscle recruitment. Everybody feeling their glutes just a little baby bit? Good. 2 more. You guys want to feel your glutes more? Great, we're gonna hold it. So now both knees, we're gonna bring our hands to the insides. Now don't move your hands. Just squeeze your glutes to lift your knees off your hands, and then they would come back. Step it wider with the knees. Toes will come out to the side a little bit. Yeah, good. And then press, and again. So it's a press, tap, press, tap. Good. Yeah. You're welcome, everybody. Also, breaks are great, right? If you need them, take them. 4, 3, 2, hold it out. Push into the floor, lift up an inch. Sink down an inch. Lift your whole body an inch. Sink down an inch. So it's a little lift and lower. I think, hold there. Stick your butt out a little bit more. The knees out a little bit more. Yeah. Good. That's where you're going to come. Is that more exciting? Yeah. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, hold. Yeah. It's gonna hold. Yeah. For 5. Keep pressing out with those knees. We're just in a static stance. Bring it all the way up. Nice job. All right, so keep your feet wide enough that you have a tiny bit of tension in the band. We're just gonna shift our weight a little bit onto one foot. On your exhale, flex that foot because we're pressing out. Good. I want you to think about, we're gonna stand on one side, push out for 5, press out 4, same side. 3, don't worry, Dion, you'll get plenty of that in a second. And it's up to you. But we're about to shift. So now bring it to the other side. Tap, stabilize, flex, and just press. Try to reach through the glute as opposed to the TFL. 5. Pay attention to what that knee is doing, right? If the band is telling it to rotate in and you're letting it, don't let it, right? We already have experience telling the band that it's not in charge. 2, 1. Nice job, you guys. Now you can either get rid of the band or bring it to your feet. I'm gonna come into a small little half squat stance. You're gonna kick one heel up. Bring your feet closer together, Jenny. And we tap one foot out. And fold it in. Tap it out. Fold it in. Oh, Dion, you can press farther than that. There you go. Now you know. Now, if you want to stand on your block, you can. But if you don't, that's fine too. Yeah. How's that feeling on everybody's balance? Yeah. We have 5. Keeping those hips, trying to face the same direction. 4, if you need to get rid of the band, you get rid of the band. 3. 2 more. Last one, hold it. Now bend that back knee just a little bit, but weight is still on this front foot. Oh God, I'm gonna snap myself with this band. Hip hinge. So slowly let your hip bones rotate around your thigh bone. Hold. Push into the floor, squeeze your glute. Come back up. Good. And again, we're slowly loading eccentrically. Good. Hold. push to lift. Now think of having gunslinger hips, right? So a lot of times, if our glutes are like, I don't want to, our body instinctively in real time changes it a little to get out of the work. So you might notice your hips kind of rotating. All right, we have 4 more. Good. Stephanie, when you come down, stick your butt out more, bring your chest forward more. Yeah, so as opposed to bending your back knee more, rotate, yeah, upper body, there. Good. More exciting. 2. Monica, don't let your face come forward at the end. Yeah. Last one, hold. Now, if it's appropriate, we lift that back foot. And again, if it's not appropriate, hold and just imagine lifting the back foot. 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Come up other side. Yeah, how are those glutes feeling, everybody? So good? Yeah, are you excited about the second side? It's gonna be so fresh. All right, I'm gonna try not to step on my finger this time. All right, we're gonna hip hinge a little bit. So it's that slight athletic position. I'm gonna push that foot out, then bring it in, and then out. Now, if you're like me and your body's trying to get out of the work, you can always hold on to something to give yourself just that little bit of stability that can help you find the work a little bit more, right? It's okay to push into that foot. It's okay to bend your knees, right? We did kind of a body scan at first. And if you're like, I don't feel it on this side, do a little body scan and see what your tailbone is doing. And if it's pointing to one direction, point it the other way and see if that helps. Good. We have 5, 4, 3, 2 more. Extend the leg out, but tap it down, bend the knee slightly, and we hip hinge. So once again, we've got gunslinger hips. As we hinge, hold for a second, make sure you're feeling the work in the glute, push into the floor, lift it back up. Now, if you're like, man, I feel my back, inhale into the tissue of your back, push into the foot. Good. You can also think about sliding your hips back slightly to shorten your body's lever. Yeah? Good. And that back knee, when you come up, it will bend, right? Because if it doesn't, we might arch. Good. Couple more. Of course, breaks are great. If you need one, you take one. 3. And 2. Last one, hold. Just hold, see how it feels. And then if you can, you lift that back foot. Good, boop, and tap it down. For 5. And 4. And 3. And 2. Last one. Bring it all the way up, take the band off for now. How you guys feeling? Great, good. Nice wide stance for me. Good, now we're just going to sink into one side, hold for a second. Now, make sure that the knee isn't just coming forward, it's a bend at the knee and hip and ankle, and then push into the floor to lift you back up. Other side, and push. Good. So we should be able, if you're like, this is really easy, good. Not everything we're doing is isolated torture of muscles, but a lot of times, as soon as we start moving on different planes of motion, it gets harder to stabilize, right? So you can stick with this, or you can mix it up by bringing your feet together, step out, bring it up, hold in it. Step it out, push up, hold, and in. Yeah. If you're like, well, I can't really hold it, tap and just imagine balancing for a second. Okay. Now, if this is too easy, close your eyes. Now, when you hold, see if you can stay on one leg for a second, right? Yeah. So you stay on that leg. Good. And up. You okay, Monica? Yeah. Quad or hip flexor? That's fine. Yeah. So when you do this, you don't have to go very far, right? Just glute. Yeah. And then if you need to, just bring them together. Yeah. Good. And also, if you need to, you can just do a full hip flexor stretch, right? But that's fine. We got a couple more. And last two, last one each side. Nice job, you guys. Come back to center. Squeeze your inner thighs together as if you're trying to pop a balloon. Just lift one foot, hold for a second. See what your body says. Lovely, you guys look fantastic. Now, if you're like, this is pretty wobbly, okay, you can stay here. You can always touch the toe down. Otherwise, think about which leg is standing. Opposite hand is what's reaching. You're going to reach across. Maybe you get to the floor, maybe you don't, and you come back up. Maybe you get to your knee. Great. Maybe you get to your hip. Also, fantastic. You got this. Good. Couple more on this side. Good. And two. Notice how as we stay on the same side, it should start getting a little bit easier as our body starts understanding what we're doing, right? Now hold this one up, then just a little bit. Now, rotate towards that front leg. Come back to center. Rotate towards that front leg. Come back to center. If you need to, you tap that other toe down. If you're in between those things, you can push that foot into a wall or a couch, right? Think about that inner thigh dragging you down. We have 4 more to this side. Same side, so you're rotating towards that knee, towards the knee. Yeah, towards the knee. Last one, other side. So inner thighs squeeze together, push into the floor. Float that leg up, see what your body says, right? So you might have strategies on one side that are just different than you would assume, right? For example, on this side, my hip kicks out, my ribs shift. And then when you're ready, opposite side hand comes across your body. Maybe you get to your knee. Maybe you get to your hip. Maybe the first couple times you get to your knee, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to try to get to the floor. But one of the cool things is, even if you don't make it all the way to the floor, if you are able to stabilize against like imbalance, you're teaching your body how to stabilize when it's trying to fall, right? So what if you're like, okay, well, I can do these, but I have to tap my toe down. Great, tap your toe down. Good. We have 4 more. 3. Almost there. How's this side feeling? More exciting, less exciting? It's more exciting for me. Last one. And then we get to rotate. So all we're doing, letting our hip rotate down towards that thigh, pressing back to center. Hey, what if you need to tap that toe down behind you? Great. Deborah, rotate to your front leg, not your back one. You're going to rotate to your front leg, not your back one. Yeah, so towards me. Yeah, and then back to center. Good. Maybe you push your foot into the wall. Great. Think about that inner thigh pulling you down. We have 4 and 3. 2 more. Last one. And back to center. Nice job. All right, we're going to unwind our TheraBand. It's going to be so fun. This actually might be the hardest thing we do today. You guys are like, oh, yours already just fell open. I'm so envious. Okay, there we go. Now, if you're at home and you don't have a TheraBand, it's fine. We're just going to start with a little bit of shoulder movement, okay? So go ahead, wrap the TheraBand so your palm is up, thumb is out to the side, and then the other hand is coming to your hip, okay? Elbow gently tucked in. So we're not gripping, but imagine you have an egg in your armpit. It's a weird visual, I know. You don't want to crush the egg, you don't want to drop the egg. Just rotate the thumb out to the side, keep your elbows still. Good. So as you do this, check in. So our body tends to want to retract and arch when we're missing range. So what I want is to think about just having the upper arm bone rotate a little bit. So Deborah, get rid of the band for this one and slide your elbow slightly forward. Keep the elbow there, palm up for me. Yeah, good. At the end range, when your armpit wants to help, try to relax the armpit. It's harder, I know. Good, good. You can tell sometimes when the armpit wants to help when we either retract or the shoulder depresses. So keep the shoulder right where it is. Good. Now, Dion, don't crunch to the side. Lift through your right side, other direction. Yeah, yeah. Now, take that arm out to the side. Deltoid is nice and active. And we just rotate it back. Hold here for a second. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Feel the back of your shoulder blade. Slowly lower. Rotate, hold it, hold it, hold it. If this, yes, Monica, say that looked really good. Yeah. You're welcome. If the first couple feel weird, it's okay. Means, actually, I kind of love the fact, relax your shoulder, Joni. Thank you. Keep it relaxed. There you go. Boom. That sometimes an exercise feels weird or uncoordinated because that means that our motor center is like learning something new. 2 more. Good. Hold this last one. Hold it for 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that hand down. Flip your other palm. Hug the egg in your armpit. Don't move your elbow. Rotate it. Now, for example, on this side, I'm really missing a little bit of rotation. But if I stop where my rotation ends, I'm working rotation. If I retract where my rotation ends, I'm actually teaching my body to get out of it. So don't worry about range of motion. Keep it where your body says you're done. Just hold it for a second. Yeah, good. Give me just a few more. Deborah, try not to retract. Slide your elbow slightly forward. Keep it there. Yeah, good. Couple more. Now notice if your body is trying to turn with your shoulder. If it is, you're going to try something. So let it rotate with it. Then hold your hand right where it is, rotate away from it. Yeah, you got more range, didn't you? Yeah. Like kind of tricking your nervous system. So if you notice your body rotating, let it, and then keep it there. Yeah. Well, so hold here. You'll rotate towards the arm, and then you'll keep the arm still as you rotate away from it. Last one, and then we get that arm up. All right, on your exhale, take it back and we hold, hold. Stephanie, bring your hand slightly closer to your face. Yeah. And then back down and rotate. Good, Monica. This one looks harder. So yeah, give yourself a little less tension. Relax, think about your elbow being on a surface, right? Just gonna relax it onto that surface. It's just hanging out there, right? Like kitchen countertop, hey, what's up? Hi, right? It's supported, good. And then if our, yeah, exactly. And then if your wrist is trying to help, think about revving a motorcycle, good. Without the band is fine, or a rest is fine. We have 3, we have 2, we have 1. Now, we're going to add weight. It's going to be great. So grab one weight. We're actually going to make sure that it's tight enough that we're not going to lose it, and we're standing on the band. So there should be a little bit of tension to begin. And once again, if you're at home and you don't have the band, it's fine. We're just going to bicep curl hold. Now resist the band for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, bring it up. Now, if you're like, that's really not that hard, should mostly be challenging on the way down. If you're like, I could really use more, give yourself more tension on the band, right? Because, and then I need it to be 5 counts down at least. You're like, why? Well, I'll tell you why. Because I said so. No, because working that eccentric is actually how we get stronger faster, you guys. And isn't that what we all want? More efficient? Well, we can get rosé after class when you're back from Greece. Brag. Got a few more. How's this feeling, everybody? Great. I want that tension all the way down. So if when your arm is straight, there's no tension, you need more, even just a little bit. Last 2. Last one. Then all we're gonna do is the other side to start. Not that bad, right? You guys are like, I don't know yet. Oh, just wait till we get to triceps. You're gonna be like, biceps were a breeze. So bicep curl and hold. Then slow it on down for 5, 4, 3, 2, slow it down. Hey gang, squeeze and hold. Squeeze your muscles like you're showing off your guns. Now hold that. Keep squeezing your muscles like you're showing off your guns. And just slowly lower your hand a couple inches. Hold. Squeeze your muscles like you're showing off your guns. Let the weight come down a little, and a little, and a little, and a little. More work. That's what I want you to focus on each time now, please. Yeah. You can smooth it out a little bit, but it's that same connection. If we just let the hand drop, we're only working one part of the muscle action spectrum. We're trying to work concentric on the way up, that contraction. We're trying to work isometric here, so squeezing it and holding it. And then we're slowly controlling it down. 2 more. You guys look so good. And of course, breaks are great. If you need one, you take one. Use your breath here. Good. Now for triceps, you can either just use the band or just use the weights or both. I'm going to show a couple different variations. If you're just using the band, tighten it up enough that by the time you get to your hips, there's already tension. Squeeze the back of your arms, push your knuckles down, hands facing each other, and then back, hold for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, and then press it back for 5. Instead of out to the side, push. That's close, but now keep it back, but have your palms face each other instead of, yeah. Is that more of the back of your arm a little bit? Yeah. Now, shoulders relaxed each time. Push the knuckles down before back. Yeah. Now, if you're like, I hate the band, or you don't have the band, you can always just go weights. But I still want you to think about pressing down and back as opposed to just back. Okay? Down and back and hold. Hold. And then slowly. Yeah. And if you're using both, amazing. It's the exact same thing. You just happen to also have weights. Right? Hold, 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 and then bend. And then reach it down and back. Hold, hold, hold. Down from your hands, not your shoulders. So instead of pressing back from here, press back from here. Yeah, good. 3 more. Making sure you're not locking out through your knees. 2. Last one, last one. Hold it back for 5, for 4, for 3. 2 more. How's everybody feeling? All right, come down, all the way down. Awesome job. We're going to use the ball to start. Once again, if you're at home and you don't have one, a pillow folded a couple times. We're going to have the ball behind our thoracic spine, hands behind your head. We're just going to start like this, elbows forward. Ooh, everybody feel their triceps a little bit? Think about your rib cage drawing down towards your belly button. Slowly extend over the ball a little bit. Now on your exhale, ribs draw towards the belly button pulls back. Try to push the ball away to curl forward. Hold and slowly extend. So much like we just did with the weights, right? We've got our concentric here, that contraction. And we hold the isometric contraction at the top. And then we slowly, slowly, slowly resist gravity. Couple more. Now, if this feels great, and this is where you are, stick with this. If you're like, man, the ball doesn't feel awesome, I don't want to use it, you don't have to. You can always get rid of it. It's the same thing. It's just a slightly different range of motion. Okay? Slowly lowering. We have 3 more, like this. Making sure the head isn't leading the charge, it's heavy in the hands. 2. Last one. Hold. Now extend one leg out. Press it into the ground, drag it towards you. Try to get your elbow and knee together. Slowly extend. Drag it in, see if you can get elbow to knee. Now, it's not just about them touching, like, oh, hey friend, what's up? Mwah. It's about actually trying to find that serratus and oblique, pushing into the knee. And if you're like, my arm can't quite get there, no problem. You can always use your hand instead. Okay, making sure instead of pressing from your neck, you're pressing from your armpit. And you curl forward from the ribs. Good. 2 more. Now we're doing the exact same thing, but instead of staying straight, we're rotating toward that knee. So now you can either bring the opposite elbow to it or opposite hand. If you're using the hand, think about pulling the leg across with that armpit, but then pushing the knee into the hand. So you get glute 2. So Deborah, keep pushing the knee that way. Yeah, good. Couple more. So we're actually trying to find resistance. If I just pull across my knee without it resisting, all I'm doing is pulling my knee across. But if it resists, it's actually using innervation, which is a type of isometric contraction. Once again, you can always get rid of the prop or move it. Otherwise, we have 2 more. Hold this last one, and then extend over the prop to relax before we do the other side. So curl forward, extend the opposite leg, then slide it in. Maybe you're able to get that elbow to knee, and then slowly extend it out. Once again, if you're like, man, I'm just done with the prop, that's fine. It's the same thing. It's just harder to get the elbow to knee, so you'll definitely want to do hand, right? And honestly, depending on what my body says, because everybody's body is going to be different, and it's going to be different every day, right? Some days my body's like, yeah, elbow's where it's at. And some days it's like, hand is where it's at. Good. 2 more, and then we rotate. When we rotate, once again, depending on what your body says, you can always get knee to elbow. Otherwise, you can do hand to knee. Just make sure you're matching your force with that glute. If you're like, but we already did so much glute work. Yeah, and now's a little bit more, right? Why not? Those glute medius muscles are so important for stabilizing you, for gait pattern, for knee health, for back health. When I took the Pilates for injuries and pathologies course, literally every single thing was like, glute medius weakness. Make sure you strengthen the glute med. It was seriously half the book. It's like, okay, noted. I have 2 more. Last one. Feet down, relax over the prop and breathe. Go ahead, bring yourself forward, hands come forward, and we roll up. Take the prop away from you. We're doing some roll-ups, you guys. So if you have a prop you need to feel successful at roll-ups, fantastic, use the prop. Otherwise, when we extend our legs out, if you can't rotate your hip bones forward and you need to bend your knees, great, bend your knees. Reach your fingertips forward, shoulder blades draw down your back, lift your ribs, and we slowly tuck your tailbone, look at your feet, and come back down. Now try to begin in a neutral pelvis here, because if you start in an imprint, you don't have anywhere to go. So lift your chest, look forward, and then imprint and roll. Good. Beautiful. Now, we are going to potentially add on with the band. Now, if you don't have the band and you don't want to use the band, you don't need to. If you do, go ahead and grab it. You can do that without the weights. Good. Reach it around your feet. You're going to roll back a bit. Shoulder blades draw down your back. Pull the elbows down and back. Feel the bottom tips of your shoulder blades. And then we curl back. Now curl forward, hold bicep curl. Yeah. And restack. Curl and roll back part of the way. Shoulder blades draw down and back. And then slowly roll down. Lift just your chest. Inhale. Exhale, bicep curl. Yeah. And then restack. Couple more. So think about that curl. As you come down, hold there. Tuck your tailbone even more, belly button in even more. Yeah. So then your abs and your postural muscles have to do even more. Yeah. And then extend. And then curl. So as we roll down, there is that pause, right? And if we're hinging, then when we squeeze, we're not actually having to fight abs against postural muscles. So that's why we're taking this moment, because that's a lot more ab work to not let the ribs pop, right? Yeah. You guys are killing it. We're almost there. Good. Curl. And down. Last one. Come all the way down, bring your legs in. Now, once again, you don't need the band. You can always get rid of it. If you're using the band, you're going to attach it only to one foot, cross it, and then curl forward. Push one foot away, and then the other foot. And push. So as you push, try to feel the tension throughout your body that the band is creating. And then you're going to rotate towards that first knee, and then the second knee. And then the first knee, and the second knee. If that doesn't work for you, don't worry about it. We have just a couple more. Last one. Come back to center, push both feet away, fold them in. Now you can always have your head down, and if you need more support, you can always bring the other foot in as well. You don't have to straighten your legs, right? So sometimes keeping the heels down a little lower and not fully straightening is a lot of work. Right? You can also, of course, have your hands behind your head and be upright. Two more. Now we're doing the exact same thing we just did, except we're taking one foot out. Right? So if you haven't brought both feet in, switch. We're pushing one and pushing the other. Good. We have a couple more, and then we get to add rotation. Just feel the difference from side to side. You can always do this without the prop if you need to. Otherwise, we rotate, and we rotate, and we rotate, and rotate. Almost there. For 4, and 3. Let your head be supported by your hands. And 2. Last set. And then we get to bring both legs back, push them both away. Now, if you had both feet in the band and you want to mix it up, you can bring the feet up and push them away from you on this next one. Instead of thinking of them lowering, think of them reaching towards the opposite wall. We have 4 and 3. 2 more. Yeah, perfect. Last one. And hug your knees in towards your chest. Joni, did you just snap yourself? You can rock from side to side. Go ahead and come onto your stomach for a second. Get rid of the band. Now this is going to be pretty specific because we're trying to bypass our erectors. So if you feel those big kind of sausage muscles gripping, we're trying to not let that happen, okay? So first, head down, just lift one leg. See if you feel your back. And then other side. And you can swing, kind of swing your hips from side to side a couple times. Think about suction cupping your hands to the ground, and then think of a lat pull. So pull your armpits down, drag your elbows down from your armpits, keep your hands and elbows on the floor. So kind of really pull the armpits down. Using your hands and elbows, push into the ground to lengthen through the crown of your head as if you're coming into, like being shot out of a cannon. Squeeze your glutes, inhale, exhale, float your arms up. And then come back down. The goal is not to feel those big muscles. We're going to do one more. Pull down, push, squeeze, and then lift. And then you can bring your hands forward. And we either do opposite arm and leg, or float, or if you need, you just do the legs. Okay? We're keeping everything still, except for the arm and leg. 3, 2, 1. Press yourselves back into your rest position. Hands up and over to one side. Push your hips away. And breathe. Hands up and over to the other side. And come all the way to standing. I'm going to finish with just the teeniest bit of balance work. So go ahead and bring one foot in front of the other like you're on a tightrope. And just feel if your feet are kind of wobbly, if there's like that noise, right? That noise is really cool. It's just your proprioceptors figuring out where you are in space, right? So don't fight it. Now, if you feel pretty good, look over one shoulder. And then look over the other shoulder. Yeah. And if that feels nice and easy, you can close your eyes. Now, if one of these you're like, I almost have it, but I'm just not quite there, you can use your fingers, right? Like making biscuits or spirit fingers or jazz hands, little sock hand puppets, or just press your hands together. One more, each side. And we get to switch feet, right? And just hold this. Maybe this is enough of a challenge for you. If it's not, look over one shoulder. If you accidentally make eye contact with someone, smile at them, please. Right? And again. And then if you feel great about it, close your eyes. One more each side. Bring your feet together, flip your palms to the sky, open your collarbones. And then relax and give yourselves a round of applause. Nice work today. Thank you so much for joining me.